turns. Ridden up to them on the outer in the dark green jacket is Sean Flanagan's mount Stumptown as they come to the second last. Fame After the Glory and Stumptown go on from Genoa. Back and forth as Enjoy Darling with one fence left to jump. It is Stumptown opening up a lead over Fame After the Glory. Genoa's found Precious Little, the final fence in the third and final banks race of the festival. Stumptown over from Fame After the Glory, then Genoa running down it in fourth, Enjoy Darling. But it is Stumptown clear from Fame After the Glory and Genoa. They'll be second and third as Stumptown wins by 6 lengths from stable companion Fame After the Glory. Third is Genoa, Enjoy Darling, and one more to complete, and that is Longhouse Poet. Best ever season continues for Gavin Cromwell.
Certainly does. A 1-2 for Gavin Cromwell in the first at Punchestown. Stumptown beats Fame After the Glory.
It's another Tattersalls National Hunt winner.
Hello, and 12s and bigger the rest. That brings in Eileen Dubb, who's a bit of a drifter. There is a bit of money for La Trinidad, 16s from 22 to 1. Dave Nevison with me in the studio, and he's put up Pisanello here.
I have put up Pisanello. I'm not alone. I think it's been put up by Pricewise today, but it's drifted from a price of 9 to 2 out to 15 to 1 on exchanges. He was second in the race last year under this claiming jockey Mark Wynn and went on to win at Hamilton. I can't really understand the drift, but I can understand why Northern Express horse won it last year is up there somewhere near favourite, although he's not massively strong in the betting. Came back with a decent run on its reappearance, obviously been primed for this. Thunder Roar is the one that is going to go off favourite, been running consistently well in 3 runs this season, and maybe deserves one of these. Quest for Fun, interesting if it comes on from its reappearance, and Racing Breaks Rider is so well handicapped on its best form, it's hard to believe, but again showing signs of serious weakness in the market. But always a competitive race. I don't know where you need to be drawn. It seems to change quite often, but I like them when they spin off the bend and come wide at Thirsk in this race. Hopefully Pisanello will cut through the field and do the same, but the way he's going in the market suggests the leg's fallen off.
Yeah, he is very much on the drift. Northern Express, the top weight here, one of the joint favourites. Let's go back to Peter.
First run in 1859, this Thirsk Hunt Cup, you know, Angus, and started off with Racing Hunters, but now 1 mile horses around that turn. It's a bit of a race to that first bend. Talking about the draw, I think you need a low bend, obviously a low draw to get to the first bend ahead, but as Dave said, when they come into the straight, if they come into the stand side, a high draw could yet prove beneficial. So I don't think there's too much point in trying to guess what's going to happen at the start here. I like Quest for Fun, who's got a wide berth in stall number 12. A quick word about this horse: he likes the track. He did tire quite markedly at Musselburgh the other day, but that was his first run for a while. He won really well by 5 lengths at Catterick back in October, and I think he's still progressive. He certainly was last year, and typical of Tim, he's had 1 run and he'll come on leaps and bounds for that. Big fancy there, Quest for Fun. Last year's winner's a lot higher in the weights this time, obviously. He beat Pisanello. I know Dave was liking Pisanello earlier on, but Northern Express ran well at Newmarket, very much like Quest for Fun. It was a run where you thought, well, he'll come on for that. He finished 5th over 7 a couple of weeks ago, Northern Express, but proving a little bit easy to back. Look Back Smiling and Thunder Roar always seem to take each other on. Thunder Roar was half a length behind Look Back Smiling in this spring mile, but when they met here at Leicester, rather, it was Thunder Roar who finished ahead of Look Back Smiling. It was a never near a third that day for Thunder Roar, suggesting that he'd come on for it, and soft ground would be ideal for Thunder Roar. So of those two, I'd prefer Thunder Roar over Look Back Smiling. Racing Breaks rider, he's won off £2 higher at Ascot, so he's waited to go really well, and he ran at Newbury last time out, which would have been almost as competitive as this. Pisanello, we know, ties in with Northern Express. La Trinidad deserves a mention, placed at Donny and at Redcar, and he's well handicapped to go well. He was a winner at Doncaster back in June. He's not handicapped out of it. Look Back Smiling, though, who I mentioned there, is trained by Gemma Tutty, who's had the likes of Thelma's Angel, Body Parts and Hot to Dot all winning for her stable. She's in tremendous form, is Gemma. But I like Quest for Fun. There's only a couple going in for the Vickers Bet Thirsk Cup, the 240. Let's get up to Alex for commentary.
They're off. Racing away in the Vickers.bet Thirsk Hunt Cup, this Class 2 handicap over the mile. Pisanello a little bit slow in gathering stride, and Look Back Smiling also not the best of breaks. Autumn Festival right up on the running rail is charging forwards and leads them at the end of the first furlong or so over Racing Breaks Rider and Radana, who sits second and third. Yellow and Red of Quest for Fun is following with Cruyff Turn. Much deeper on the racecourse is Bajan Bandit away to the left as we look on. Last year's winner, Northern Express, tucked in behind the pace, is racing alongside Aileen Du, the white and emerald green jacket. Centre field position for Mersky and also Titan Rock, and with those is Thunder Roar. La Trinidad, Pisanello and Look Back Smiling, the final runners into this left-handed turn. Heading out of the far side in the Thirsk Hunt Cup, and it's Autumn Festival who shows the way by 2 lengths over Radana, who's in second position. This leader just edging a little further away on the turn. Racing Breaks Rider is in third. In fourth position then Quest for Fun. Aileen Du still following. On the outside of those is Cruyff Turn, and between horses Northern Express. Being shaken up now is Thunder Roar and Bajan Bandit, both grey and red colours, both struggling. Titan Rock trying to improve in between rivals, as is Mersky. Pisanello has got an awful lot to work to do. La Trinidad and Look Back Smiling have never played a part. Less than 2 furlongs to go. Autumn Festival still has the lead. Away to the right is Radana. Aileen Du is following. Then comes the Yellow and Red of Quest for Fun, trying to pick up his Titan Rock. Mersky to the outside, finishing off inside the furlong. Autumn Festival now pressed and passed by Radana. Titan Rock, though, is bursting through. Look Back Smiling from miles off the pace. Surges late. Titan Rock got first run and won the Hunt Cup. From Look Back Smiling in second, Autumn Festival in third, then Radana and Mersky in the pace setting. Horses next across the line, Aileen Du.
Titan Rock has just held on for John and Sean Quinn. James Sullivan on board wearing a hood for the first time. He was a 12-to-1 shot. He's held on from Look Back Smiling, who flashed home for the Gemma Tutty team, but could only finish in second place. Titan Rock wins the Thirsk Hunt Cup. Here we go, Goodwood. This is the Goodwood Horse Racing Club handicap. It's over 2 miles, and Maxident is 15-to-8, having been 5-to-2. Punctuation is 3-to-1. Not unsupported. Plus point is 9-2, and drifting 6s and bigger the rest. This is a bit of a punt, Dave, on this favourite.
Yes, it is. Yeah, he's been well back. The colours have just been down the field in the Hunt Cup, so they'll be hoping to get a few quid back here. Punctuation, I think, is a really interesting horse for me, and Synodin could be one. It could be a real interesting race, this 2 mile, with several looking, I would think, to head on to Ascot after this. But yeah, definitely a punt going on this Maxident. Sylvester de Souza already had 1 winner on the card.
Yeah, he won the opener. He's going to try and win this. This is the third at Goodwood. Here's Ian.
Set. Off. 2 miles the trip for the Goodwood Horse Racing Club handicap, and they begin away over on the far side of the course. Punctuation and Clongao is the two who drop in towards the back of the field as they begin to settle down. And favourite Maxident in the violet jacket, running with plus points in black colours. Synodin in yellow and black. Right in behind those is Vela, who was just preceded by Legacy Power. Then the red cap on a light blue jacket of Punctuation, and Clongao is in 2 shades of blue, is at the rear of the field. They settle down then, and it is Maxident and Sylvester de Souza leading. Has the advantage here by around about a length. Synodin, yellow and black colours, furthest on the running well as they approach the completion of the first half mile. And then comes Plus Point, George Wood, black and rose colours, about 3 parts of length further back, running in third place. Blue and white for Legacy Power and Jason Watson as they swing right-handed and make an uphill run at this stage of the race. Best turned out winner Punctuation is next. Light blue jacket and red cap for Holly Dawes alongside Tom Queally on Havela. Quarters of green and orange, white sleeves, white cap as well. And then George Rook in 2 shades of blue on Clongowes. The senior runner is a 10-year-old right at the back of the field. So away into the back straight they go. They'll only be about 7-8 lengths first to last here. Favourite Maxident continues to be in front. Got about a 2, maybe slightly longer length lead now over Synodin, the yellow and black colours, who has moved through into share second position with Legacy Power in the blue and white. Right in behind there's Plus Point, black jacket. She's back in about 4th position now with Havela, and then Punctuation and Clongowes, who continue to be the last couple of runners. Running down into the dip on the far side of the course, and so approaching the halfway stage. Still only about 7-8 lengths between them. And Maxident will shortly begin the uphill run right down towards the bottom end of the course in the far turn. Over Synodin and Legacy Power together in 2nd and 3rd places. And then comes the black and rose jacket of Plus Point just ahead of Havela, Punctuation and Clongowes. So they're now moving down towards the final 3/4 of a mile, and it's still Maxident. Legacy Power is in 2nd place and is gradually been getting closer to this leader. It's only about 1.5 lengths off him now. Synodin back in the yellow, black jacket against the rails in 3rd. Then Havela moving through to a narrow 4th position, edging ahead of Plus Point, relegates her to be 5th. Clongowes and Punctuation are together at the rear of the field. They're heading downhill towards the home straight. Maxident still with the lead. Legacy Power in 2nd position as they can see the 3 furlong pole. Maxident though by 1.5 lengths to Legacy Power. Synodin behind these. Havela on the right coming with a challenge. Big gap for Punctuation on the left in company with Synodin. And then comes behind these Plus Point. The back marker is Clongowes. Running down towards the last 1/4 mile and Punctuation. And Holly Dawn has swept through to the lead now. Going on to Maxident in 2nd. Havela back in 3rd place. Battling that out with Plus Point as they head down towards the last furlong. And it's Punctuation in front. From Havela, nearest to us the white sleeves. Maxident is between the pair. This trio fighting it out now. They're inside the last 200 yards. Punctuation continues to be in front. Havela trying to get there. Maxident between them. It's still Punctuation showing in front. Havela gaining. Punctuation just to Havela. Maxident between those. They're clear from in 4th place, Plus Points.
That's a good 3-way go at Goodwood. Punctuation's done it for Fergal O'Brien and Holly Doyle. Just hangs on from Havela and the rallying Maxident between horses 3-1. Punctuation wins the 3rd, the Goodwood Horse Racing Club handicap at Goodwood. Right, Newmarket. Runners just beginning to leave the paddock by the looks of things for our next, which is the Palace House Stakes. 5 furlongs, Beautiful Diamond 5-2 from 11 to 4, Mid-Bahi 11 to 4. 4-1 Twilight Calls, Kurdos 6-1, 11s of a Dream, significantly 16s along with T-Spirit. 7 questions, 28-1, 8 go then. Always a good race this, Dave. Beautiful Diamond ahead of the market.
Yeah, and Carl Burke might be hopeful of having his best ever day. Today he's just won the Thirsk Cup, but I'm sure he'll be looking at these next 2 races at Newmarket. Beautiful Diamond looks a really nice, very fast filly, taking on older horses. The only 3-year-old filly in the race, but won the Firth of Clyde, was it, last year in good style. T-Spirit is going to lead them, I would think. You won't get much faster than that, but makes a big step up here. But there's plenty of support for this Beautiful Diamond, and it might not be quite as good a race as it sometimes is. This Group 3 with the Palace House has been around a long time, this race, but always a big stepping stone perhaps to something bigger.
And the runners heading down to the start with Beautiful Diamond 5-2, Mid-Bahi 11 to 4, Forwards and Bigger. The rest, let's go back to Lydia on course.
And that was with 7 questions just being playful / a bit of a handful. He lightly unseated Callum Shepherd, who is now riding into post with his feet kicked out of the irons and taking it steadily with that horse. But we briefly saw Beautiful Diamond, one of 2 3-year-olds, along with that horse, 7 questions in this race. And Carl Burke basically saying that she's here by default, that he feels that there were narrowing options for her in terms of what he feels she wants. I'm surprised to see her favourite at 5-2. How about you?
Yeah, I am surprised to see her favourite, because I think her form is below the level of where McBarney and Twilight Calls, for example, are at. She obviously brings the potential to do better to the table, and it's one of those cases where potential in the market is being factored in over the proven level of ability. Beautiful Diamond only had the 4 starts. She did get better with racing last year. I think it's fair to say that her final start at Ayr was probably the pick of her performances. Her only slight blip, really, and it wasn't that big a one, but at York you might have anticipated a little bit more from it. That was over 6 furlongs, and she maybe is all about the minimum distance. She's by Twilight Sun, and that's the thing that gives me a little bit of confidence that she will progress, because so many of his progeny do.
And that and her physicality, though. She wasn't just a 2-year-old to look at, was she? She was tall, she had some scope, and you can see that now, you know, starting her 3-year-old year. Yeah,
stronger filly to carry what is a reasonably enough sized frame, really. So there's a couple of angles there, and as I said, so many of her sire's progeny do progress. If you think back to him, he ran in a handicap at, was it this meeting, as a 3-year-old, and he was rated in the 80s, and you know, by the autumn he'd won a Group 1, so his stock are taking after him in that sense, that they are progressing with age. So she looks like one that will, but she's got to progress quite a bit to get to where the others are.
She has. Let's talk about horses that have already got better form in the book and are setting a standard that she has got to reach, let alone surpass. One of those would be Mick Bahi, who is now with Charles Hills, used to be with Roger Varian, has form at 5 and 6 furlongs, and shaped quite well here over a furlong further in the Abernetts on seasonal debut.
Yeah, I thought shaped really well. Came from the back of the field in the Abernetts, and you know the pace held up really well. Washington Heights with the wind at his tail got out into a handy spot straight away in front and stayed there. And Millstream and Spycatcher, who finished ahead of Mick Bahi, were never too far away from the gallop as well. He was the only horse, Mick Bahi, to get involved from the back of the field in that race, and there weren't many at the meeting that got involved. Now, could argue that there's a chance that he ends up a little bit too far out of his ground again, because he isn't always the sharpest out the gates. But the drop back in trip from 6 to 5 I don't think is going to be a problem for him. He's got lots of winning form over the minimum, some of it on stiffer tracks, but I think he'll be absolutely fine. And to me, just on recent form, he probably is he should be a shorter price than Beautiful Diamond, but maybe
belongs to all of us Isle of Farmers. So we care about doing things right. We care about our girls, our land, future farmers, and everything we put on the table. We wouldn't do things any other way. Arla, owned by farmers. At Beko, we test all our appliances for occasions like this. We tested for that. Yep, we even test for that. And don't worry, we test for that to go in there too. In fact, we stress test everything to the extreme, so you can be stress-free. That's a Beko state of mind.
OK, Pilkins, hand it over.
What, sir? It's just a bit of fizzy orange.
Don't play dumb with me. It's Tango Orange. Most powerful flavour on the...
Test for that to go in there too. In fact, we stress test everything to the extreme, so you can be stress-free. That's a Beko state of mind.
OK, Pilkins, hand it over.
What, sir? It's just a bit of fizzy orange.
Don't play dumb with me. It's Tango Orange. Most powerful flavour on the street. Send him to the hole.
He's completely tango
to yourselves.
Get tangled.
Look for him arriving late here in this big sprint. Palace House Stakes. Bahi, I think Jamie Spencer will drop him out the back of the field like he does with so many horses and then arrive late on the scene. So don't be disheartened if Mitt Bahi is perhaps even slowly away and near the back of the field for most of the way, because I think he will pick up quickly in the closing stages. Twilight Calls hasn't run so far this season, but Henry Candy has booked Ryan Moore, which is must be a plus sign, because he actually ran really well in this race 2 years ago, and he's run well in Group 1s too, Twilight Calls, and this is a Group 3. It's a good race, but it's 2 levels below a Group 1, and he's definitely got a touch of class, Twilight Calls. Kurdos, just a quiet run first time out to finish 8th this year. Actually ran well in the Prix de l'Abbé in France in the autumn last year. That was a top 1,000-metre sprint in Paris. Ross Orion for Clive Cox. Kurdos at his best. He'd be in the running here too. T-Spirit, winner first time out this year, so he's in very good heart at the moment. I think his form is a little bit below the 4 that we already mentioned, but he's still a high-class sprinter, T-Spirit. So cracking races. Vad Dream, she's probably at her best with a bit of cut in the ground, and she ran really well in this race a year ago. She's not consistent though. To be fair to her, she does run in some races where I think the runners are probably just too good for her. She runs in some really hot, classy sprint races. So maybe a Group 3 with the third first time out this year and a proven performer in this race before. Vad Dream might be a bit of a price here. Might be worth a look. 18.8 for the win. If she's at her best, she is by far at her best on soft ground, though, and it is good at Newmarket this afternoon. Significantly as useful on his day as well. And Julia Camacho, as we know, does very well with their sprinters. And 7 questions. Not great last couple of runs, but he has run in some seriously good races, so he has obvious excuses when he does get beaten. And George Scott, his trainers, put cheek pieces on 7 questions today for the first time. See if that perks him up a bit. Here we go with Alan Howes for this year's Palace House Stakes.
Racing 5 furlongs for the William Hill Palace House Stakes at Group 3 level. In the centre, and the blue and yellow with the red cap, T-Spirit, handy early on. Followed by 7 questions in red and white. The yellow there to the left-hand side is Beautiful Diamond. Purple sleeves and a handy 4th is Vad Dream, last year's winner. The black jacket, Kurdos in 4th. Black and white with the noseband significantly is next. And then came Mitt Bahi. Twilight Calls is the one who's a few lengths behind. And they're soon through halfway. T-Spirit and Mia Nichols lead the way by 3 parts of a length. Over 7 questions in second. Vad Dream now looking to move up with her effort. Then Beautiful Diamond has been shaken along there to the left-hand side. Kurdos and significantly are the next 2. Racing out of the dip to the final furlong. Vad Dream has put her head in front. Beautiful Diamond, though, goes with her. Here comes 7 questions. Mitt Bahi's running on well, significantly getting going as well. A bunch up towards the line. Vad Dream and attended Beautiful Diamond. 7 questions. 7 questions. Vad Dream, Beautiful Diamond. I think in that order in the Palace House.
What a race. We have seen some brilliant action so far today, and the flat racing at Newmarket, Goodwood and Thirsk. Now, 7 questions. Red jacket on this side of that leading group. He's just got there, hasn't he? Alan's called it right. Got there ahead. Vad Dream is the one in the middle there. Number 7. Far side yellow jacket of Beautiful Diamond, who very clearly has trained on, and she could be a very nice sprinter this year as well at this minimum trip of 1,000 metres. But well done to 7 questions, and well done to trainer George Scott. He's put the cheek pieces on today. You see them down the side of his face. He's got a noseband as well. So you've got sheepskin all over the place. But it just seemed to work, didn't it? And if he needed a little bit of extra help in the finish to keep him going, maybe the headgear did make all the difference. He certainly had a busy time of it last year when he was a 2-year-old. And sometimes horses that race a lot in their juvenile campaign, they don't train on. But he definitely has, no question about it. And I think George will already be thumbing through the programme book to try and work out which 1,000-metre races to run him in this year. He just edged slightly to his right, then slightly to his left, but you can't fault his finishing effort because he kept battling away. The mare Vad Dream and the striped cap, who suddenly appear. I don't think she's the easiest to ride. Kieran Schumacher produced her with perfect timing there. She got to the front, purple sleeves, second from the left. She was only in front very briefly though, wasn't she? Because we had battling back in the yellow jacket on the far side was Beautiful Diamond. Then the eventual winner arriving on this side of the track. And it was quite a bunch finish, as you might expect in a hot 5 furlong race. There is the photograph of them going over the line. Twilight Calls. Now that's a horse who's running grade Group 1 races. Red jacket with a blue cap, far side number 6. He's run on really well in the closing stages as well. And you see all the other horses in the race all finished in a heap, including Mit Bahi, who, as we thought, this side number 3 arrived late on the scene, but was never quite going quickly enough to get there, but was only beaten, what, a length and a half by the winner in the end, number 3. He's run well too. I'd say that all of those horses clearly have come into the season in good form. No reason why they can't carry that form through into the middle of the summer. So you're going to be hearing those names rather a lot, I think, in the coming months. Let's go back to the jumpers in Ireland at the Punchestown Festival. And what a great meeting this is. We've actually had, I think, more varied results than some people thought might be the case. They thought that trainer Willie Mullins would dominate the meeting and win everything, which he has been doing in recent months, including in Britain. But it hasn't been the case. The prizes have been spread around, although Willie's had his fair share of success. And now this is a handicap chase, 21 runners. This is a typical Irish steeplechase over a long distance, nearly 4 miles, 6,298 metres. Going to need plenty of stamina to win this in the soft ground. But these races, they're a real puzzle, these Irish chases, because they get so many runners in them. And who knows, could be anybody's day today. Clark Kent, Willie Mullins and Paul Townend. Yes, they haven't won every race at the meeting this week, but they've won plenty. Clark Kent, though, I don't think he'd be one of the best horses in the stable, but he's not bad. And he's clearly got every chance here, but you can put a few more in the shortlist as well. Clark Kent's run pretty well most of his races this season as well. And he was actually 4th in the Scottish Grand National a couple of weeks ago. The only question will be, has he recovered from that race yet? Because that's another race over a similar distance. Your Own Story's been second in his last 2. Shorter races than this. They've been over 3 miles. This is over 4 miles. So it's a lot of extra distance. But Your Own Story, Lucinda Russell, who's won a couple of Grand Nationals in Britain, of course, with Corach Rambler and one for Arthur. Patrick Wadge has ridden loads of winners for Lucinda this year. In fact, he's been he was the top conditional rider. In other words, an apprentice over the jumps in Britain. More winners for him than any other conditional rider this year. Your Own Story comes into the race in great form. Willie last out the trip. Time will tell. Western Zara's run really well in her last 2 races. She's a grey. Much better form recently than she was earlier on. So Western Zara, 2nd and 3rd her last 2 races. I think she's looking to make up for lost time earlier when she wasn't running so well, but she's certainly hit her peak in her last 2. Bow to Greatness, not in the best of form, but interesting, a British runner, Ben Pauling and Ben Jones, the 2 Bens, who have had plenty of winners together in Britain in the last few months during the course of the winter. They're going over there and having a crack. We've had 2 British winners already this week. Will there be another one? Let's join Jerry Hannon.
BMW handicap chase, uphill they go to the first of 22 fences, prominent that a canter. Right up is Landon Calling and Western Zara. Jumping up to the leaders as they take the first fence safely is Royal Thief in the white cap, couple of lengths to Deal Kerr, and then the Gradual Slope. Not far off them is Your Own Story. Climbing uphill to the second fence, and it is Landon Calling, Western Zara, the 2 greys, followed by Royal Thief at the canter, Clark Kent on the inside, then Your Own Story. All okay at fence number 2 as they head downhill to 3 and 4. the first of which is the ditch. Landon Calling and Western Zara together, followed by Royal Thief, the Gradual Slope, another grey in the race. Clark Kent on the inside of Atticanter, and then History of Fashion out wide, both Sir Bob and He Fits In. And then Your Own Story and Credo next. On to the third. And spaced across the fence, Landon Calling, Western Zara, Royal Thief, the Gradual Slope, followed by History of Fashion. Atticanter and Clark Kent coming together in the air, Deal Kerr and Your Own Story. On to the fourth. And it is Western Zara and Landon Calling, less than 2 lengths in front of Royal Thief, then the Gradual Slope and Atticanter and Clark Kent, Your Own Story. And then History of Fashion, pushed away from it, Deal Kerr, then Bruce Jack and the top weight on the ropes and Gallant of Ozell. Round the inside is Credo, all standing after 4 as they enter the back straight where they will meet 3 fences. Landon Calling, Western Zara, 2 in front of Royal Thief, then the Gradual Slope, moving back up to the leaders, Deal Kerr, then History of Fashion, Atticanter and Clark Kent, Your Own Story and Credo. Over the 5th, and heading just outside their final 3 miles and a furlong, brought out very wide indeed, is Sir Bob, runner-up last year, racing way out from the rest of the field as they jump the middle fence in the back straight, number 6. And the fence coming up will be the second ditch. Western Zara leads Deal Kerr, Royal Thief, shuffle back into 4th as Landon Calling, then the Gradual Slope, History of Fashion, Your Own Story, Atticanter and Clark Kent on the ropes, Credo, Gallant of Ozell and Bruce Jack, History of Fashion, and then He Fits In and outside the door. Well back is Bout of Greatness, and then Peaches and Cream and Red to Return. Never a Dull Moment, Sir Bob and Clonmene. Turning out of the back straight, having jumped 7 fences, and it is Western Zara moving on by 3 lengths to Deal Kerr. On the inside, Landon Calling, and then Royal Thief at the canter, Your Own Story, Clark Kent. And the Gradual Slope and History of Fashion, fence number 8. Western Zara by 2 lengths to Deal Kerr, who landed in 2nd. Ridden away from that fence at the back, Sir Bob. On to the one before the turn into the straight, number 9. And it's Western Zara leading Deal Kerr, Landon Calling, Your Own Story. After the 2 visitors, at a canter, the Gradual Slope, History of Fashion, Royal Thief on the outside, then He Fits In as they turn into the straight for the next 2, 10 and 11 before their final circle. Western Zara by 2 lengths to Deal Kerr, another 2 to Landon Calling, Your Own Story and Royal Thief and History of Fashion and the Gradual Slope, and He Fits In has picked up ground, and Bruce Jack and Atticanter and Clark Kenton outside the door as they straighten on up. Continuing their progress towards the halfway stage in this long distance Colin Quinn B&W handicap chase. Western Zara joined on landing by Deal Kerr. Landon Calling goes back up to the first couple, and then Your Own Story, History of Fashion, Clark Kent, and Royal Thief next. As they come to the fence, there'll be the final fence next time. Western Zara landed in company with Deal Kerr, and then Landon Calling, Your Own Story in between horses, and then Royal Thief and History of Fashion, the Gradual Slope, Bruce Jack, He Fits In, Atticanter and Clark Kenton outside the door on this side, Sir Bob, then Gallant of Ozell and on the ropes, and Clonmene has moved up from last, and then Peaches and Cream, Never a Dull Moment, Red to Return, Credo has dropped away, and now the back marker trailing the field is Bout to Greatness at the end of a circuit. Another 11 fences left to jump as they pass the halfway stage. Western Zara continues up front with Landon Calling and Deal Kerr, then Your Own Story, History of Fashion, Royal Thief next, good jump up in between horses by Bruce Jack, which takes him closer. Another 10 fences left to jump. Western Zara and Liam Quinlan by 2 lengths to Deal Kerr and Danny Gilligan. On the inside is Landon Calling and Liam Harrison, then Your Own Story and Patrick Wudge. History of Fashion, the Gradual Slope, and Royal Thief out wide. Downhill they go for the final time. And it's Western Zara building up a bit of a lead over Deal Kerr, Landon Calling, Your Own Story, History of Fashion, and Royal Thief next with the Gradual Slope, and then Bruce Jack, Clark Kent, Atticanter outside the door, and He Fits In next. And then Gallant de Vauxhall as they head for the second last ditch. Western Zara, Landon Calling, Deal Kerr the leading three. Then Your Own Story, History of Fashion. He's right on their heels with Royal Thief next. And then Bruce Jack and the Gradual Slope at the Canter and Clark Kent onto the second of the two. Western Zara up and over from Deal Kerr, Landon Calling, Your Own Story. A slow jump there by History of Fashion as they turn into the back straight with 7 more fences left to jump. In front still is Western Zara. Up there in front from the outset, along with Landon Calling, Your Own Story, and Deal Kerr, as this quartet open up an advantage over Royal Thief, then Bruce Jack in the Gradual Slope. Outside the door in History of Fashion and Natty Canter. Losing ground on the inside is Clark Kent. He fits in, goes there, and has brought down outside the door. Another 6 fences left to jump. As they go to the middle one in the back straight, Western Zara into it, up and over by 2 lengths. And not on landing by Deal Kerr on the outside of Your Own Story and Landon Calling. And then the Gradual Slope, who's on the heels of the leaders. And then Royal Thief, Sir Bob is about to be pulled up. Then Bruce Jack at the Canter, Bow to Greatness is creeping into contention. And then Credo, Gallant de Vauxhall and Clark Kent. Heading to the end of the back straight, having just completed their jumping over on the far side. Western Zara, still bold displaying up front with Deal Kerr, then Landon Calling and Your Own Story. Little is changed up ahead from the outset. Break of 4 lengths to Bruce Jack, then the Gradual Slope. Royal Thief next on the outside of Attic Canter, and then Gallant de Vauxhall, Bow to Greatness, Credo. Red to Return, Clark Kent is being eased out of the race and taken out over the 4th last, and Western Zara is down, didn't deserve to go. Attic Canter is also down, as it's Landon Calling and Your Own Story who are left to the fore from Deal Kerr. The 3 are abreast, heading to the 3rd last fence, 2 lengths to the Gradual Slope, being followed then by Bruce Jack, Bow to Greatness, Royal Thief, Gallant de Vauxhall, then Credo, Red to Return, and on the ropes as Your Own Story takes it up on the home turn from Deal Kerr, ridden back up on terms, 2.5 lengths to Bruce Jack. The Gradual Slope is still coming into it ahead of a fading Landon Calling, 6 lengths to Bow to Greatness, and then Royal Thief. Straightening for the final 2 fences in this marathon Column Quinn BMW handicap chase. It's Your Own Story and Patrick Wadge on the left, over from Deal Kerr and Danny Gilligan, then Bruce Jack, who's plugging on in between horses for Charlie O'Dwyer. The Gradual Slope on this side for Mark McDonough, and then Landon Calling. The final fence is coming up. It's Your Own Story with cutting back the lead of the Gradual Slope. The final fence up and over by a couple of lengths. Your Own Story, the Gradual Slope. Bad mistake by Deal Kerr. It's Your Own Story from the Gradual Slope, who's inching up on the near side with every stride. The Gradual Slope has nailed Your Own Story by a head. At the end of the long distance Column Quinn BMW handicap, Bruce Jack 3rd, and then Landon Calling, Credo, Bow to Greatness. Deal Kerr finished off with On the Ropes, and 1 more, Red to Return.
Looked as if it was going to be won by Scotland, didn't it? And only run out of it in the last couple of strides. The Gradual Slope gets there. Mark McDonough for Sean O'Brien. It goes to stays in Ireland in the end. A really brave effort by Your Own Story. Patrick Wadge, the leading British conditional jockey, apprentice over the jumps, in other words, of the season that's just ended. Lucinda Russell, who usually does so well in the Grand National, of course. She's won 2 of them. And on this occasion, she looks as if she's going to win that race at the Punchestown Festival in Ireland. That would have been a big win for the Scottish stable, but she just got run out of it. You can actually see the eventual winner moving into it quite stealthily on the home turn, going well, though, so it does look as if his jockey has timed that to perfection. Let's go to Thirsk now for the next race there. This is the 3:15. We've got cracking action today. The jumpers at Punchestown, yes, but also at Goodwood and Newmarket, 2 top tracks in England, and Thirsk as well is putting on a really good Saturday afternoon card. This is a 1,000-metre handicap at Thirsk. 13 runners. Arecibo, and Maximum Impact and Glory Fighter are the 3 at the top of the betting. Arecibo for Declan Carroll. Zach Wheatley takes the ride. It actually has been a seriously good sprinter in the past. And he's still pretty good. He's 9 years old, but he's got plenty more to offer. And this is the kind of handicap that you think that he might still be capable of winning. Still got a high rating. And he's run against better horses in the past. Arecibo, he ran really well for second last time out. He looks in prime form and could be ready to take this. Maximum Impact. The Colours of Ammo Racing. Callum Rodriguez for George Scott. Ran well for fourth last time. And I thought that was a return to some kind of form, because he hasn't looked quite as good in his previous 3 races after starting well. But I think that fourth last time is a step back in the right direction for Maximum Impact. And he's currently $5.90 for the win. He's another one for the shortlist here. Glory Fighter, not so good last time out, but he did win here at Thirsk the time before. Last ones are going in at Thirsk, and then we'll be across to Goodwood for the next one there. Tinto disappointing last time. But let's join Alex Fussy with the call at Thirsk.
Flying 5. Good start for Maximum Impact down the centre. Bit of a difference of opinion here. Reigning Prophet and Running Cool keeping a little more to the rail, although Reigning Prophet starting to tack over. Tattersall just about has the overall lead from Arecibo, Maximum Impact, and also Ready, Freddy Go. Glory Fighter just behind them with Khabib, then Running Cool near side. Reigning Prophet and Star of Lady M follow. They're racing in advance of Spirit of Applause with that runner Zarzini. Right at the back of the field, Elegant Erin, and last of all is Tinto, who's pushed along and struggling. Tinto got loads to do. Meanwhile, Tattersall has the call. Maximum Impact on the right with Star of Lady M. Arecibo has come there travelling quite well. Now asked for more. Khabib, Elegant Erin trying to run on. Still a few chances. Heading inside the final 150 yards. Star of Lady M just ahead of Reigning Prophet and Elegant Erin. To the line we go. It is Star of Lady M who wins. Reigning Prophet second, Elegant Erin in third, and fourth to Arecibo.
Star of Lady M. She was in the middle of the betting, and a bit of a drifter in the market as well, but they didn't tell her and she didn't know. And if you like back in grey horses, you may well have been on her. She was down the field last time, and it was a hot race. And this was a good race here today, but that was an even better one, a higher grade last time out, and she'd been running really well on the sand in her previous races. But she's actually won that with a little bit to spare, quite cosily, hasn't she? She has got a good record on turf, 21 races on grass, 4 wins. On the all-weather, it's 3 from 12. So overall, 7 from 33 before today. Now it's 8 from 34. You've got to love horses like this. She's a 4-year-old now, but she's had 33 races. It's incredible. 34 races including today. That's a lot of races for a horse who's only in her 3rd season. But she's won so many of them. So what a lovable horse she is. You can see Green Jacket there, the grey, second of the greys. She's quite a long way back in the field here, but Mark Wynn, her jockey, produced her to perfection. And she's won with a little bit to spare in the end, so I think she's going to go up the handicap a little bit. That's her second from the right, starting to run on now. Tattersall on the purple jacket in the middle showed a lot of speed. So did the Colours of Ammo Racing, also purple. Maximum Impact. That's just starting to fade now. That's the other grey. Going down to the final furlong here, but eventually the winner got on top, and she's won again. She is so tough as they come. We're only a matter of minutes away from the 2,000 guineas now, so stick around. We've got a hot race coming up from Goodwood first, another top track. It's the Daisy Warwick Filly Stakes, a listed race. The quality this afternoon all over the country is excellent. They are going in. Favourite here, Sumo Sam. Holly Doyle on board for Paul and Oliver Cole. She won 2 of her last 3 at the end of last season. She's particularly good in soft ground, so the conditions will suit Sumo Sam today. She's got a big weight to carry here, but she's got a lot of class, and the conditions are in her favour. She's 260 for the win. Gather Ye Rosebuds for trainer Jack Channon. That also loves the conditions here. I think it will be soft ground horses dominating at Goodwood today. It's a lovely day. It will dry out a bit, but it's definitely the soft ground performance you want to be on the side of today. Here's Ian Bartlett.
They begin running uphill, and Madam Ambassador, with a distinguishing green cap for Jason Hart, is sent through to lead early on. Going to be pursued by Sumo Sam. Holly Doyle in the yellow and blue. The well-backed Gather Ye Rosebuds is a length and a half behind those. A blue jacket, paler cap as well in 3rd place, as Sumo Sam has moved through to the lead. Halfway down the field in claret colours is Queen of the Pride. Ching Shia White Cap is next, and then Sea of Roses. And there's the door is the back marker. They move onto the far side of the course and very well strung up. There'll be at least 12 lengths first to last here. So Sumo Sam, who won the Best Turned Out Award, Holly Doyle in yellow and blue colours, went through to lead after a few hundred yards over Madam Ambassador. Jason Hart running in second, distinguishing green cap. And then the blue colours, a pink sash, Ronan Whelan on Gather Ye Rosebuds, who shows in third. Claret Jacket for Robert Havlin, Queen of the Pride, just the third race of her career this afternoon. Halfway down the field, shows in fourth. Last year's third, Ching Shi, Luke Morris, white cap, shows two from the back of the field, followed by Sea of Roses, Jason Watson, red and white on the sleeves. Harry Davis, dark blue and yellow on There's the Door is the back marker as they now begin the run uphill, far end of the course. Still a good 10, 12 lengths first to last. Sumo Sam leading. Madam Ambassador, though, getting closer in second. 3 lengths behind those to Gather Ye Rosebuds as they're about to swing right-handed and head to home. 2 lengths behind Gather Ye Rosebuds is Queen of the Pride. Another 2 lengths to Xing Shi. Then Sea of Roses, and there's the door is the back marker. So running down to the final half mile, and it continues to be Sumo Sam. But Madam Ambassador is now almost level. Couple of lengths behind those in the blue. Gather Ye Rosebud shows in third. Next is Queen of the Pride, then Ching Shi, followed by Sea of Roses, and then There's the Door. And now on the right with a green cap, it is Madam Ambassador who comes to join Sumo Sam. Right in the slipstream of these is Gather Ye Rosebuds being held up for a later challenge. Sea of Roses making headway on the left. Then towards the right is Queen of the Pride as they head then down inside the last quarter mile, and Gather Ye Rosebuds in the blue coming to tackle Madam Ambassador. Further from us, Sea of Roses is there with a big challenge. Here's Queen of the Pride, and also There's the Door running on from the back of the field. They're inside the last furlong. Gather Ye Rosebuds in front, but Sea of Roses and Queen of Pride are challenging either side. Queen of the Pride nearest to us, trying to get to Gather Ye Rosebuds, who's fought off the challenge, and Gather Ye Rosebuds has beaten Queen of the Pride, Sea of Roses, and There's the Door.
Yep, loves the soft ground, this horse, and proved it again this afternoon. It's testing at Goodwood today, although they are getting through it fine, aren't they? They are finishing off well. Whereas elsewhere in the country, it's not as soft as Goodwood. They just had a lot of rain in the week, and it's unusually testing there today. Queen of the Pride, I thought, ran really well for second. It's only her third race today. She won the previous one the end of last year. You've got to say that Queen of the Pride looks nailed on to win next time out, so don't miss her when she reappears. But Gather Ye Rosebuds, just too strong, winning for Ronan Whelan and Jack Channon. Kept on gamely in the conditions at Goodwood this afternoon, which are significantly softer than they would normally be up there on the beautiful Sussex Downs. Let's go to Newmarket shortly. It's only 10 minutes away now, the first classic of the season, the Kipco 2,000 guineas. They've got the 1,000 guineas tomorrow for the fillies. It's the 2,000 guineas for the colts today. The fillies can run in it, but they tend to run the 1,000 guineas. And that's first classic of 2024 over the straight mile at Newmarket with the Aidan O'Brien, potential superstar, City of Troy, running for the first time this year. Lots of excitement to see whether he's as good this season as he was last year as a 2-year-old. If he is, he's going to be a brilliant horse to watch during the summer months. We'll go over to Newmarket shortly. The 2,000 guineas, the first classic of the season, first of the 5 classics, will be underway in about 10 minutes. Here they are in the parade ring at Newmarket. Long-awaited race. All through the winter, we look forward to this moment because these are the best horses of their generation, running over the straight Rolling Mile, as we call it, at Newmarket. This is Rosalian, or Rosa Lion, as some people call him. Sean Levy, riding for trainer Richard Hannon, who has a very big opinion of this horse, who is second favourite to City of Troy in the market, and I think it's fair to say definitely has the second best form in the race. So Rosaline, or Rosalian, if you're looking for an alternative to the favourite, he could be the one. Some people think that he won't stay a mile very well because he's quite speedily bred on his dad's side of the family. Blue Point was a very smart speed. He was a top-class sprinter. He's also proving to be a very good stallion, although he's only had a couple of seasons. But it is debatable until we actually see it whether Rosalian will get up the hill. But if he does, he's got the form to make City of Troy go a bit, I think, in the closing stages. City of Troy himself, of course, winner of his 3 races last year as a 2-year-old. He did absolutely everything right. And a lot of people thinking that he could be one of the best horses that Aidan O'Brien has ever had. But he's not much of a price, is he? 155 for the win. And I think, personally, I'd rather go for something further down the order and back it win and place. For me, there's not much mileage in backing City of Troy to win, although some people will think it's because he is the most likely winner. That even though he's a short price, it's worth a go. But I think I'd rather go for something like Ghostwriter, for example, from Clive Cox's stable, unbeaten in his 3 races. We don't know how good he is, and if you back him each way, that's win and place, then even if he doesn't win, he finishes second or third, then you're going to make a bit of a nice profit, actually. So I think they're the kind of horse. I think Notable Speech is another one. He's only run 3 times. They've all been on sand at Kempton, but I tell you what, he has looked very impressive. And could it be significant that Notable Speech is the Godolphin Charlie Appleby representative here? From all the stables stars that he's potentially got there, that Notable Speech, who's unexposed, only having run 3 times in fairly small races on the sand, that he should be the one that comes through to run in the Guineas with William Buick, the stable jockey, on board. Only time will tell whether Noble Speech is as good as they must hope he will be. Maybe they just didn't have any other 3-year-olds who seemed right to run in the race on the day. It would be surprising, given that they've got so much strength and depth there. But we'll only find out, I think, in the next 10 or 15 minutes just how good Notable Speech is. But he is potentially very smart on the basis of just visual impression of his wins at Kempton Park. There is City of Troy going out. We'll see him in his slower movements on the way to the start. This Notable Speech and the Godolphin Blue. I love the way he went up through the gears at Kempton, and he certainly looked like a class act. It may be he was just beating inferior horses, but the way he quickened up past his rivals suggested that he is potentially a high-class horse in the making. Whether he's good enough to win classics, only today will tell. But he could be high-class. Notable Speech. Just haven't seen him against horses this good before. Juddmont Silks there, the colours of Carlo Dullo. We've seen many a top horse running in these over the years, the green with the pink sash and cap, white sleeves, including, of course, Task Force's dad, Frankel, who was the greatest horse. I think it's fair to say, I think most people agreed on that, the best horse that we've ever seen in flat racing in Britain. Well, Juddmont have had so many superstars over the years, the likes of Kingman and Nabal would be among the others. There are so many of them. It's if you try to name them, it'd be here all afternoon. But Task Force, I'm not sure that he's quite up to that standard yet, but he could be very good. He could be a classic winner. He hasn't done much wrong so far. Won his first 2 races, second and the third of them. I think that if you look at his form, he's looked good over 6 furlongs, 1,200 metres, but I think the step up to 1,600 should suit him fine on his pedigree. So Task Force, he's had a breathing operation as well, must have had a little issue. And Rafe Beck and his trainers have got that sorted out in good time for this classic race. So Task Force, a big price. I'd just say I certainly wouldn't rule him out of this. I think he's not far away, you know. His form overall in terms of his racing is not far behind these. But then you could say the same thing about Hartem, who's a massive price, 28.5 at his best. And he was the winner of the Craven, which is one of the main trials for the 2000 Guineas at Newmarket back in April. And overall, Hartem's form, quite apart from winning that big trial, overall his form looks pretty good as well. It's right up there with the best of these. Ghostwriter is the one on the right there in the purple and pale blue. He's won all 3 races, colours of Jeff Smith, who's had top-class horses for decades now. It'd be lovely to see Jeff winning this one here. It'd be a very popular winner because his trainers he is one of the old-fashioned owner-breeder types that we used to have so many of in British racing. People who just they built up their stock of lovely horses over the years, mares and stallions, and they bred out of them and effectively made their own top-class horses. And it's great really to see Jeff still going after so many years in the business. Richard Kingscote is the rider for trainer Clive Cox, and he did win the Royal Lodge here last year, in which he beat some very smart horses indeed. The Royal Lodge, of course, used to be at Ascot. It's now run at Newmarket in the autumn. It's a Group 2 race, but still a high-class trial for next year's Classic. So Ghostwriter, there he is again at the purple and pale blue. I think he's probably the best each-way bet in the race, win and place, but there are many others who you might want to have a look at. Night Raider, he's going down with that one there for Carl Burke, whose stable's in such good form at the moment. He's only run a couple of times, a bit like Notable Speech. Night Raider's form is on the all-weather, on the sand, not the grass. It's unlikely prep for a race like the Guineas. It's not to say that top-class horses can't run on the all-weather. I mean, Enable, for example, she was one of the best horses we've seen in the last decade. She actually started off by winning on the all-weather. But it is unusual for a horse to come to the Guineas not having run on grass at all. And Night Raider and Notable Speech fit into that category. But they are both unbeaten on the sand, so they have limitless potential. And you can't argue with the form that Carl Burke's stable's in at the moment for Night Raider. He's clearly got to improve to win this today, but he is very unexposed. We have no idea how good he is. Iberian, Tom Markram for Charlie Hills. He won the Champagne Stakes last year, which is one of the top 2-year-old races for horses in their first season. That's 7 furlongs, 1400 at Doncaster. He went on to run at Newmarket after that, the Dewhurst, which is probably the best 2-year-old trial for the Classics. He ran behind City of Troy there, who romped away with the race, and Iberian was only 6th in that one, so he's got to turn the tables hugely on City of Troy. This is the favourite here, City of Troy, in your picture at the moment. He is a magnificent specimen. He seems to have, physically, he's done very well since last year. He's got a lot of scope. This one, the only issue I would say is it's the 2000 Guineas. So you would expect him to win loads of good races this year. He won first time out 2 months ago on the sand. He'd finished 2nd in his debut race last year on the grass. The form of his races looks good, but he's up against the best horses in trading here. And 10 Bob Tony, even his rating is not far behind the other horses in here, and yet he's a massive price to win for Safi Osborne, riding for trainer Ed Walker, a winner here at Newmarket, the Craven meeting a few weeks ago. And he does have to improve a little bit, but I tell you what, that proves that he goes well on the track, and I do like horses that have got previous form here at headquarters. That is 10 Bob Tony on the left of the picture. He's just going out. He's very easy to spot because he's got white stockings, white feet. And Safi Osborne will give him a great ride. She gets better season by season, and now she's ready to ride in classic races now. Her dad, Jamie, of course, who's a successful trainer in flat racing, was a top jump jockey himself in the past, and he'll be delighted to see Safi in the race today. It would certainly cause a few headlines if 10 Bob Tony and Safi were to win the race today. But Ed Walker, the trainer, he does get some high-class horses, top-class horses in his yard. He seems to have won most years. I wonder if 10 Bob Tony could be it. An enormous price if you fancy him, though. Starting to go in. Ali Anabi, got to talk about him, as he's currently third in the betting. Jim Crowley, former champion jockey, riding for Owen Burrows. He's had some seriously good horses himself, Owen. Now, he looked pretty good last year as a 2-year-old. He has run with Rosa Lion or Rosalian and City of Troy last year, Ascot and Newmarket in the Dewhurst. And you think overall he's just a little bit behind those two. But I think, you know, if you wanted a high-class horse who could place, Ali Anabi might be it. 31.7 for the win looks enormous for him, and 470 for the place. I think that hugely underestimates the ability that he's shown so far, because I think on overall form he's probably just about the third best horse in the race. So what's going on there with Ali Anabi, and that huge price that we popped on the board there makes him look as if he's lost one of his legs. 32.1. He's tumbling in the market now. 27.1 for the win, 480 for the place. Bit more like it, really. He should never be, shouldn't really be as big as 30s. Be more like in the British markets, for example. He's more like 11s or 12s. So he does seem to be largely ignored. And maybe somebody will step in late on and snap up the price for Ali Anabi there, because 27.4 for the win, 410 for the place still looks generous. Last one's going in. Just a few more here. City of Troy will come out of stall 2. And so it'll be interesting to see whether what Ryan Moore's tactics will be. Will he chase the pace? Certainly, the first day of the meeting yesterday, the front runners were hugely advantaged. I think you didn't want to come from too far back yesterday. So he might want to sit City of Troy pretty handy from that low stall. Notable Speech coming up. This is a really interesting horse for Godolphin in the all blue. And just a few more to go now. And City of Troy, last in, but will he be first home? Let's join commentator Alan Howes for the Kipco 2000 Guineas.
And they're off in the 2024 running of the Kipco 2000 Guineas over the mile. City of Troy broke out well in the dark blue jacket. Ines Sharon's with him through the opening furlong. Al Yanabi's quite keen. He's up with the early gallop as well. Then Hartem and 10 Bob Tony, the orange sleeves and cap. They're followed through then by Task Force in the pink cap. And with those to the right-hand side is Iberian. Hartem with City of Troy over toward the far side. They're followed through by Rosalian, then Ghost Writer, and Night Raider is with those in the grey silks. Tucked in behind that group is Notable Speech as they continue up the home run towards halfway. It is City of Troy just about in front, but with him though is Ines Sharon and Hartem between them, the green sleeves and cap. Night Raider completes out that leading wave. Al Yanabi more towards the stand side in blue and white with 10 Bob Tony and Iberian maroon in yellow. They're followed by Rosalian. Task Force nudged along. Ghost Writer behind those, and then came Notable Speech. City of Troy is under pressure now as out in front Ines Sharon will lead from Hartem, and Al Yanabi as they head down towards the final 2.5 furlongs. Rosalian travels powerfully down the centre, puts it up to Ines Sharon. Al Yanabi coming there, then Hartem. City of Troy will be well beaten. Notable Speech is coming into it, the blue to the left hand left-hand side. They're racing inside the final furlong and a half. Rosalian down the centre. Notable Beach to the far side, trying to stick on his Hartem in third, but it's Notable Speech who's come through to lead. He goes on by a couple to Rosalian. Hartem back in third, then Ghostwriter. It's Notable Speech. He remains unbeaten. He won the 2,000 guineas. Notable Speech from Rosalian, then Hartem, Ghostwriter in his chair and out in the RB, and then Task Force.
Well, this is a fascinating horse. He's only run 3 times before today. All 3 have been at Kempton on the all-weather on the sand, and yet he was the horse that made it through the Godolphin ranks of Charlie Appleby, who's got so much talent in his yard, to be their sole representative in the race today. And he's turned out to be not only the winner of the race, but actually what looks like a seriously good winner. City of Troy, the favourite, a complete flop. He was beaten something like 500 metres from home. You can see Ryan Moore working away, and he found absolutely nothing. So there will be a post-mortem into City of Troy's performance there, but lots to like about the winner. I think that's a top-class horse to follow for the rest of the season. Let's go to Punchestown. Soft ground there today. Got a hurdle race. Handicap chase. Favourite here is Lossy Mouth for Willie Mullins. So add another big race. She's a short price. Let's join Jerry Hannon.
BF Mares Champion Hurdle. Setting off in front is Tell Me Something Girl in the red cap. Leads Gala Marceau and Lossy Mouth. Hispanic Moon. Dropped in the back marker is Ashro Diamond as they turn along the side of the track to the first of 11 flights. Building up an early advantage is Tell Me Something Girl and Rachel Blackmore. Good 5 in front of Lossy Mouth and Paul Townend, who take up second place from stable companion Gala Marceau, Danny Mullins, and then Hispanic Moon. Darrow O'Keefe, the back marker heading for the second flight is Ashro Diamond, Patrick Mullins. Over the flight on the turn into the straight, Tell Me Something Girl. Out in front of Lossy Mouth, the long odds-on favourite. Third is Gala Marceau, and fourth round the bend is Hispanic Moon with a couple of lengths back to the trailing mare Ashro Diamond. Turning in for flight number 3 and re-establishing a sizable advantage on straightening up is Tell Me Something Girl. 6 to 7 lengths clear now from Lossy Mouth, and all 4 of today's rivals behind her in the mares at Cheltenham, and Gala de Marceau, Hispanic Moon, Ashro Diamond. Flight number 3 and the last one next time is Tell Me Something Girl, Into It, from Lossy Mouth, Gala Marceau, Hispanic Moon, Ashro Diamond. Little changes, passing the winning post the first time with the Circuit of Race. About to rise uphill to flight number 4. Tell Me Something Girl, oppose over a 5-length advantage from Lossy Mouth, Gala Marceau third, then Hispanic Moon and Ashro Diamond. At flight number 4, Tell Me Something Girl, up and over from Lossy Mouth, who's moved away from Gala Marceau as Ashro Diamond relegates to the back of the field a struggling Hispanic Moon, who has faded out of contention quite rapidly and been taken out as well, Hispanic Moon. As Tell Me Something Girl away from the 5th flight. Followed downhill by Lossy Mouth, Gala Marceau and Ashro Diamond. Continuing downhill to the next flight, which will bring them towards the halfway stage. And the Grade 1 Coolmore National Hussars Bolshoi Ballet EBF Mares Champion Hurdle. Tell Me Something Girl. He jumped off to make it. Maintains a clear advantage over Lossy Mouth, who's followed by her 2 stable companions, Gala Marceau and Ashro Diamond, as they go away from that downhill flight, bringing them into the back straight past halfway. Then in single file, and still well spaced out by the front running Tell Me Something Girl. 8 lengths clear from Lossy Mouth, Gala Marceau third. 4th of the 4 that remain is Ashro Diamond. Down the back they go. Over the first of 2, Tell Me Something Girl, from Lossy Mouth, Gala Marceau and Ashro Diamond. Right across from the stands, they're heading for the final mile. 4 flights left to jump. Tell Me Something Girl's lead has been slightly reduced by Lossy Mouth. In 3rd is Gala Marceau. 4th of the 4 is Ashro Diamond as they head to the point at which they started. And now there's 3 flights left to jump. And Tell Me Something Girl It's come back greatly to Lossiemouth, Gallimar So and Ashrow Diamond. Inside the final 3/4 of a mile as they pass the point at which they started. 3 flights left to jump. Tell Me Something Girl. By 4 lengths to Lossiemouth. 2.5 in front of Gallimar So, coupled clear from Ashrow Diamond. Turning with just over 5 furlongs to go. 3 flights left to jump. Tell Me Something Girl. By less than 4 lengths to Lossiemouth and Gallimar So and Ashrow Diamond. No changes, heading for the 3rd last flight. 2 to bring them in the final time. Tell Me Something Girl, reeled in by Lossiemouth. Lossiemouth lands just in front after having stretched for the flight. Gallimar So, Ashrow Diamond have left behind Tell Me Something Girl, who's cut out quickly as Lossiemouth turns into the straight, a length in front of stable companions Ashrow Diamond and Gallimar So. And dropping right out of contention is Tell Me Something Girl, who made the bulk of the running, but into the straight with just over 2 furlongs to go and 1 flight left to jump. It is Lossiemouth and Paul Townend stretching away from Ashrow Diamond and Gallimar So, who are both making little impressions to bridge the gap on the long odds on favourite and their stable companion. Lossiemouth to the final flight in the Coolmore National Hussars Bolshoi Ballet ABF Mares Champion Hurdle. Lossiemouth by 6 lengths over the last from Gallimar So, who's booked for 2nd, Ashrow Diamond in 3rd, and on the run in. Title or no, what an ambassador he is as Paul Townend, as he makes his 3 out of 3 for the year on Lossiemouth and the Mares Champion. 2nd Gallimar So, Ashrow Diamond 3rd. Sweep of the floor for Willie Mullins. Tell Me Something Girl is the back marker.
Yeah, another Willie Mullins benefit, and Lossiemouth. Well, she's good enough to actually run in the champion hurdle, the Mayor's Champion hurdle. I think that the title of that race slightly overstates its significance, but I think next year you will see her in the champion hurdle, both here at Punchestown and also at Cheltenham. And you'll see her in similar top-class races all year, taking on, I think in many cases, taking on the geldings, but at the moment still running in amongst her own gender there. But as you saw, proving far too good. So not actually much of a race, was it? She was a short price and she did exactly what was expected. But she's a top-class mare for sure. It would be really exciting to see her running in proper competitive races next season. Let's head off now to our next one at Thirsk, where they've got a very good flat racing card this afternoon in Yorkshire. And this is the 350, race 5. And favourite here is Rocky Mountain Way. Just had the 2 runs, but he's done well in both of them. She's run on the all-weather twice here for trainer Charlie Fellows. He's based it at Newmarket, but even though they've got a meeting there this afternoon, he's sent this filly north to Thirsk. And that 3rd at Kempton last time out showed that she was going to win a race pretty soon. It could well be today. Charlie has booked a top northern-based jockey Paul Mulrennan to ride. Rocky Mountain Way at 250 for the win. Kendalina has only had 1 run. She finished 4th though. That was his Sommel, again on the sand. So the top 2 in the market here. Kendalina 970, not top 2 in the market actually. In our market, Lacana is 2nd favourite, but Kendalina, rather like Rocky Mountain Way, has only run on the sand so far. Stayed on late at Southall last time out. Switches to grass today. If she acts on the turf, she'll be one of the main contenders. Lacana, though, has had experience on the grass. It was all last year as a 2-year-old, and she did pretty well. A couple of 3rds at the 4 races and a 5th and a 6th as well. She'll definitely win a race. I wonder if it will be this one here. Lacana 660 for the win. First run of the year. She hasn't run for something like 7 months, which it is always a bit of a worry when a horse hasn't run since its 2-year-old days, as we saw a very good example of that in the 2000 Guineas just a few minutes ago when City of Troy, who was by far the best horse, the best 2-year-old around last year. He's beaten out of sight this afternoon, one of the first in trouble in the 2000 Guineas. There may be a good reason coming through for that later on, but I think the Newmarket will still be absolutely shocked at the performance of City of Troy this afternoon. It just proves that there is no such thing as a certainty in horse racing. So Kendalina 980. I have to 940 now. she caught the eye a bit, I think, when she stayed on for fourth at Southwell last time out. Obviously, this is a different surface today, but she ran well there. Nartaji from a top stable, Roger Varian, finished fourth in the Trainers' Championship last year. And that fifth first time out Newcastle looks pretty good. I expect to see big improvement from her today too. Nartaji at 660. Definitely a potential winner. Vitrina, first time out. Stable's doing very well in races like this at the moment. Vitrina, though, 940 for the win. The betting's saying, yes, she could run well. It's not quite saying, yes, she's likely to win, but she could. And Mostar Dream, second first time out for the Scottish stable of Scobie Jardine. Second at Pontefract, coming home really well at the finish on soft ground. So even she's in the mix as well. Mostar Dreams at 880, quicker ground today, though, at Thirsk. It's good to soft, not soft, but it's still just on the easy side of good. Alex Fussy, our commentator at Thirsk this afternoon. Rocky Mountain Way looks very short. Her form looks good, probably just the best in the race, but she's very short, and I wouldn't blame you for looking for a bit of value here and backing one of the next 4 or 5 in the market instead. Here we go. At Thirsk, last ones are going in. This is over 7 furlongs. It's a maiden filly stakes. Who's going to get off the mark today? Let's go to Yorkshire to find out.
They're off. Vitrina, the newcomer, a bit slow to get going. Also, Nataji didn't get the best of breaks for the Vickers.bet independent family-owned bookmaker. EBF Maiden Filly Stakes. They go over 7. Lucana, plenty of experience, bang up there early. Kendalina and Lady Pegas are also prominent. Grey Kier is just in behind the pace. Spot the yellow sleeves. Yellow and black colours on the inside. Nataji making up some ground. Deeper on the course is Rocky Mountain Way, posted about 4 wide as they go into the left-handed turn. Is now in advance of Mostar Dreams. Back down the field, Vitrina, Beguiling, and also Dandiva, with Beguiling just dropping to be the back marker and pushed along around the bend. Lucana and David Nolan shows up by half a length over Kendalina in second. Lady Pegasa is in third with Grey Kier and Rocky Mountain Way following. Nataji coming off the bridle in about 6th and is certainly starting to struggle. Mostar Dreams is switching to the left and trying to close in. Vitrina yet to get to the leading line. Beguiling Dandiva with 5-6 lengths to make up. And Locana is pouring it on up top here. Locana still shows with a furlong and a half to cover. Greyker in second. Rocky Mountain Way is trying to plug on. Then Mostar Dreams, but Locana hasn't been passed yet and is continuing to roll. Locana is away by 2 over Greyker and Mostar Dreams. They are not stopping Locana. Locana will get her day, and she's done it impressively. Greykier second, Mostar Dreams in third. Looks like Beguiling might get fourth. Quite eye-catching from the back of the field.
Yep, I've noted that one down, Alex. Always looking Beguiling, it was what he mentioned. The green and red hoops. Look out for that one next time out. It's just the second race for that filly today, and she improved a lot on her first run. Lacana, though, did have some form last year as a 2-year-old. I think the significant thing was she had form on the grass as well. A couple of thirds certainly marked her down as one of the most likely winners in the race. So she's off the mark now, and I think they can probably start looking for some decent handicaps with her now. She was rated 77 today, which is quite a high rating. She'll be in the 80s next time as a result of that win. And that means that trainer David O'Mara will have to look for some quite valuable prizes to win with her. It was a good effort. I think particularly so because she hadn't run for 6 months. So you never quite know how they're going to come out of their winter break, but she's come out of it really well. Let's go to Goodwood now for the next race there. This is the 3:55 British time, the maiden race. Berkshire Nugget, 220 for the win. Andrew Boarding and Jason Watson ran really well on the sand last time out. Finished second after 3/4 on grass last year. Definitely a player, and the fact that he's run recently and shown his fitness and the fact that he's trained on is a big plus here. Galactic Charm has run well in his 2 races this year as well. He's proved himself on both the sand and the grass, so surface today shouldn't be a problem. Walls has run well in a couple of all-weather races for Rafe Beckett. And another one who could be involved. Let's join Ian Bartlett.
They're off. Race with a mile, the trip here for this William Hill Epic Value Restricted Maiden. They come out in a fairly decent line. Desert Footsteps from stall number 8 drops in behind the others. In green, Daracina Gold. In light blue, Galactic Charm. And on the right in red, Berkshire Nugget, the leading trio. And the favourite, Berkshire Nugget, taking the lead. Worrells, light blue cap, black sleeves. Extreme right round the outside, coming through to a prominent position as well. Further behind these runners is Poles Apart, the maroon hoops on white sleeves. And the best turned out winner, Love You Darling, ahead of a pale jacket of Desert Footsteps at the rear of the field as they begin the turn back towards the home straight and running on now to the final 5 furlongs. And Worrells has gone on. Leads by quickly 2 lengths. Berkshire Nugget in second place, almost 2 lengths behind him to Galactic Charm, who runs narrowly in third round the outside of Daracina Gold. She's back in fourth. And then comes Love You Darling and Poles Apart together with Desert Footsteps at the rear of the field. But at the head of the straight, it's a 3-length lead now for Worrells. Hector Crouch making the best of the way home. Tracked by the favourite Berkshire Nugget, Jason Watson, red colours in second. Daracina Gold behind these in third. 1 from the right is Galactic Charm, called upon for an effort. Extreme left now is Desert Footsteps from the back of the field. On the right is Love You Darling eating up the ground. It's Worrells as they head down with a furlong and a half to go to Love You Darling in the light blue and pink colours. Jack Gilligan coming into it now. Behind these in the red is Berkshire Nugget. They're inside the last furlong. A good battle. Black sleeves, Worrells. Nearest to us is Love You Darling. Berkshire Nugget getting going again in the closing stages. Worrells fending off the challenge of Love You Darling as they race towards the line. Worrells stretching out and she wins. Love You Darling in second, Berkshire Nugget in third. It might just be Galactic Charm over Daracina Gold for fourth.
Worrells was definitely very game winning that, and she was carried a bit to the right by Galactic Charm there inside the last 300 metres of the race. And I think if Galactic Charm had beaten her, there might well have been a steward's inquiry to ask whether it affected the result. But as it is, Worrells has won on merit anyway, so no question about that. Hector Crouch, local jockey, he comes from this part of the world, the southeast of England. Rafe Beckett, a very good trainer, always has top-class horses at his yard. I don't think this one's quite top class, but I tell you what, I think she's going to be a pretty good handicapper, and she might even make it up to the next level. 2 runs before today on the all-weather, and now she's won on grass. She's already enhanced her value when she goes off to have a career as a mum later on. Let's have a look at this again. Worrells in front here now. Galactic Charm rather, in the pale blue jacket. You see it's coming across here. Ben Cohen, the jockey on that, I think he's going to get a strong word and maybe a suspension from the stewards as well for not changing